Hi, welcome to Tethertech Safety. I'm Billy Turner, and today we're going to show you how to install the Tethertech Safe Wheel system.
First thing we're going to do is remove the end cap, your end cap that normally would hold your oil in, and you'll put a drain pan under this to catch any excess oil that might run out. And now the next thing we're going to do is remove the freeze plug. So we'll take that out, and that exposes our spindle all the way through and our axle, so that we are able to have access all the way through our axle and our spindle. Then the next thing we would do is we would take this nut. This is your stock jam nut that would be on here normally. So you'll remove that and leave your adjustment nut on there. Some of them have a locking tab that goes on here, washer that'll go on here. Some of them have a little set screw to lock your nut. So whatever your locking mechanism is, you'll put that back on. Then we're going to install the Tethertech nut. You can see this nut is a deeper nut and it's got threads in it. So now we get that installed, we're going to torque the Tethertech nut. It will torque to the same specifications, your manufacturer specifications. Some of them's 200 pounds, some of them's up to 400 pounds. This particular one here would be 225 pounds. So you'll just use your torque wrench. Tighten it up until you have your proper torque on it. Then we're going to install our equalizer tube. It's just simply going to slide in just like that. We will install our cable. Now normally when you'd have somebody on the other end here in a little bit, to work with you. Now, the next thing we're going to do is install our spindle seal plug. It has a O-ring seal here. It'll seal against the end of your spindle. It's got an O-ring seal inside of it that will seal against your tube. And then it's going to have another seal in the hub that's going to ride on it. So it's sealed 3 different times. So then we'll use this tool here. Most of you guys have seen one of these before. It just adjusts to whatever size you need and fits, and you'll just snug down your spindle seal plug against the end of your spindle, so that's all sealed real nice now against the end of your spindle. We'll install the Tethertech Safety Hub. So this is your hub. You have a gasket that'll go on here, and then you can see there's a seal inside of this hub, and it rides right on this surface here. And so that's your 3rd seal for your lubricant. So there's no way your lubricant's ever going to leave out of this hub unless you have a leak in the back side of your truck hub. When you're installing the Tethertech Hub, if you'll always install it with your fill hole at the top on all of your wheels, then when you fill your hub with oil, you'll fill it here until it runs out at your check plug. And once it runs out, you'll put your 2 plugs in and it's sealed up, and you have the right amount of lubrication in it. You can run these up, and then it's best if you'll take a torque wrench and torque all of those bolts to 30 foot-pounds. And the next thing is the Tethertech alignment washer. Just simply going to slide on it, lines up the cable, puts it in the center. And then we have our spring, and this is your adjustment spring, and this is critical you adjust this right. This is what sets the tension on your cable so that you got that right. And you can see this air gap in these coils. When we adjust this, we're just going to adjust it until those air gaps are completely closed up. Once those are closed up, we stop, and that has the right tension on the cable. Then we're going to install these nuts. These are 1.25 inch nut. And then we have a Allen wrench. The Tethertech cable has a hex cut in the end of it to fit this Allen wrench. And for most parts, you can tighten this nut up till that spring is almost coil bound by hand. There's not a lot of tension on this cable. It's just enough to hold it straight inside of the axle tube and not put any side load on your bearings. Now you can see our air gap is completely closed up, so that's good. Now we're going to add another nut, and this is just going to lock the system to where it can't come loose. Now there's only one spring on it per axle, and that goes on the driver's side, so you know where that's at. You don't have to have a spring on both sides because that's just an adjustment tool. Then we're simply going to just jam these two nuts together so that we've got the system locked in. Now we're going to install our end cap. So this is just an end cap. It's kind of a dust cover. You can see it caps everything up, and you've got an O-ring right here that this goes against. You can see we've got a small washer on these bolts that'll be in your kit. What we're doing here, you can see the cable goes through the system, so there's no way when you have a wheel bearing failure, your wheels and drums and all of that stuff, tires, can leave your truck. So this part that we've just installed protects you from bearing failure. The next part we're going to install is a wheel retainer and a retainer nut. This is the wheel retainer. We're going to slide it on, and it's going to go on and go right over some pallets back here, your normal truck pallets. This is your truck hub. This is on all the truck hubs. And then when we put the wheel retainer on, it is going to slide over the Tethertech nut and over those pallets. That way everything is piloted straight on the trailer. So that slides on over the hub and over your pallets on your truck hub and over the Tethertech threaded hub. Then the next step, we'll install the wheel retainer nut. And you can see it's marked clearly. It's got off on it. So one side's left-handed threads, one side is right-handed threads. And then we just use a 1/2-inch drive extension, and you can see we've got a hex cut in it for that to fit into for the nut. You just turn that until the nut's tight. You can bump that a little bit with a hammer. That's plenty tight. Then the next step, we have a lock on the Tethertech nut so that you can lock this clamping nut. That takes a 5/8" socket and a ratchet. You just simply put it on there, and you're going to tighten this down until it's snug, and that's going to clamp this nut on. So everything is locked on now, and basically that's it. It's installed.
Thank you once again for taking time to watch the Tethertech Safety Safe Wheel System installation video. I would like to commend you for your commitment to safety, to take care of the driver, your company, and the traveling public. You can visit us at tethertechsafety.com for any further information. Once again, thank you and happy trails.